Many thanks for staying with us and welcome back to the Global Business Report here on Arise News. Now, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump says the U.S. is going to do great things with Bitcoin. He also said the United States needs to ramp up electricity supply in order to support Bitcoin mining. Now, when prompted about strategic Bitcoin reserves, the president answered in the affirmative.
Crypto, really, we do need, I think, your embracing of crypto, very different from the previous administration. Strategic petroleum reserve like for crypto?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to do something great with crypto because we don't want China or anybody else, and not just China, but others are embracing it, and we want to be the head. We're going to be ahead of AI. We're going to be way ahead of AI, and we've got to produce tremendous amounts of electricity. You know that. It's unbelievable when you think that we need more than twice what we already have. If you think that's pretty for a specific industry, but we'll be able to do it. We have Lee Zeldin in charge of the environment. He's going to be giving us very strong approvals, I think, and he's going to make sure everything's good and clean and proper, but he's going to give us very fast approval.
Now, the topic of strategic Bitcoin reserves isn't only happening at the federal level in the U.S. The legislature of the state of Texas will also consider adopting a Bitcoin strategic reserve following the introduction of a bill on Thursday. The proposed bill, HB number 1598, was introduced by Texas State Representative Giovanni Caprioni. It seeks to build a supply of Bitcoin for the state with the funds held for at least 5 years without being sold. Now, it will also allow Texas citizens make donations to the fund. Femi Adegolu is founder and CEO of BChain Africa, joins me now to discuss this further. Femi, good morning. It's great to have you on the show. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing today?
Very well. Thank you for asking. Well, let's begin with what you make, to start with, of Bitcoin's rapid appreciation to $100,000.
It's a very good time. I think last year I was, on an interview where I mentioned that Bitcoin is going to hit 100K, and then it was about $35,000. So investors globally are happy with the, increase in the price. And of course, for me as well, a lot of people who also invest in altcoins, Ethereum and the likes, are also going to be happy because there's going to be a sudden rapid increase of cryptocurrencies, globally, but especially the top 100 or top 20 coins on the coin market cap. So basically, that's actually huge for investors globally to see. And next year is going to be way bigger because this is going to be the bull run and one of the biggest world transfers in the history of mankind, where cryptos are going to really do massive numbers. So yeah, investors globally are going to be pumping more money. Companies like BlackRock, Fidelity, and Co. are going to be investing in real-world asset tokenization. And big money is going to be coming into the crypto space. Elon Musk is already a crypto guy, of course, Donald Trump. So yeah, and that video already you played shows that, the US is very serious when it comes to cryptocurrency and blockchain in general, yeah.
Right, you certainly coined it when you looked in your crystal ball. Remind me to ask you, more future happenings before we round this up now. But okay. Donald Trump, in that clip we saw in the New York Stock Exchange yesterday, suggested that the US could have a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Let's get your opinion on that in terms of likely implications for the US if they decide to explore that path.
Okay, well, Donald Trump is a very smart president, and he's someone who says something and does it. He knows that BRICS, like Britain, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the UAE, all these countries, most of them are actually trading on their own local currency. So what that means is that there's a less dependency on the dollar, and less dependency means less demand. Less demand means that the dollar is not going to be used for trading amongst these countries. So of course, the biggest and the smartest move any president could make right now is to, keep their currency strategically in Bitcoin, and have it as a backup plan. So just in case the price of the dollar actually goes down. I think in the next 5-10 years, most countries are going to be trading, in their own currencies. Let's say Nigeria, Ghana, CD to Naira. And most countries are now going to be, using their own local currency rather than using the dollar. So it's a smart move. Actually, instead of, waiting for the dollar to actually get down and lose demand, it's better to actually have Bitcoin in reserve. And of course, it's actually a better way of actually keeping assets, because it is actually on the blockchain, and then it is harder to actually do anything fraudulent with Bitcoin, because once you actually move from one wallet to another, it is very easy to track. So yeah, that's actually very smart move from President Donald Trump. And of course, he has also launched his own project, which is called World Liberty Financial, raised hundreds of millions of dollars. Recently, about a couple of investors in the US, one guy called Justin Tron, invested $30 million on that project, and it's quite huge. So Donald Trump knows what he's doing, and he sees the future already, and the future is crypto, no doubt about that.
Right, certainly quite a smart hedge, as you mentioned. But what about the implications for subnational governments? As we know, at the state level in Texas, we're also seeing a call by the legislature to suggest a Bitcoin reserve.
Oh yeah, just like Texas, the state in the U.S., Lagos State, which is the financial capital of Nigeria, if the governor can say, okay, we want to set up a Bitcoin reserve, it's only going to help the state. Number one, having a Bitcoin reserve actually attracts foreign direct investment. But for us to really have this, we need to actually provide a lot of education for people why the government should, have Bitcoin as a strategic reserve for the country, most especially for Lagos State, for example. Now, as Nigeria is right now, Nigeria is actually the largest, most active country when it comes to cryptocurrency and blockchain in Africa as a whole. So it doesn't take anything from Nigeria and Lagos State to have a Bitcoin reserve where we can actually store our foreign reserves in Bitcoin. And we'll actually show that because after 2025 to 2026, most countries are going to adopt Bitcoin as a means of reserve. Rather than keeping in dollars, they're going to keep in Bitcoin. And of course, the price keeps appreciating because when countries hold it, they're not selling it. And when they don't sell it, it means that the price of Bitcoin keeps appreciating in value. So in the next 10 years, we can see Bitcoin hitting over 300, 400K or even 500K because countries holding Bitcoin means the value of Bitcoin doesn't go down. So that's actually a very, very smart way of having our reserves. And of course, the public can easily track that, because it's an on-chain transaction. So it is very visible. If a country like El Salvador is keeping Bitcoin for the past 3-4 years, they've made so much profits, about 500% of profits that El Salvador has made. And the president actually made that smart move to invest in Bitcoin and keep that assets for the country to hold as an investment. And of course, it's paying them off right now. So.
Right, transparency and of course the returns on it are also quite invaluable. Okay. Well, now while in Casablanca, Arise News spoke to the DG of the Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission. Let's see what he had to say about Bitcoin.
All right.
You will first give credit to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, even for the appointment he has made even to the Nigerian SEC. I have been an enthusiast of cryptocurrency, and so the President deemed it fit and necessary to make me the DG of the SEC, and that is phenomenal. So even before President Trump started thinking about that, our own dear President has already thought about it. And so what we have done is that we've been able to do what we need to do. We have actually been on the forefront, and that is why we created what we call the regulatory incubation and the accelerated regulatory incubation program. What is the idea? The idea is to be able to bring all of these cryptocurrency exchanges into a box, to be able to understand exactly what they are doing, to be able to understand the kind of myths that we have in them, and to be able to also understand the risk associated with them in order to be able to deal with those risks. So for us in Nigeria, we are actually at the forefront. We have been dealing with this, and now we are moving forward even to the next stage, having to review what we have seen and then come out with more, more rules and regulations and getting the place set for actual action. So for us at the SEC and for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I want to say congratulations for that foresightedness, in making sure that whoever comes into these positions are people that actually are in tune with the future. And that's exactly what we are doing. Democratizing, the market for the youths of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and indeed for Africa as a whole, showing an example. And so the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria actually should get the credit, not even me.
All right, Femi, in light of these statements from the DG, what policies would you like to see from this administration with regard to crypto?
First of all, we should have regulations and laws. I think the past 2 interviews I've done here, I've advocated for public participation, private participation, having a public-private partnership, having the companies, the private sector, service providers, being given a roadmap and a blueprint of how they should operate in Nigeria. I feel like the government can benefit a lot in terms of taxes, from the revenue made by these companies. Regarding this video, I basically see that he said Tinubu basically, adopted crypto before Trump. I don't know how true that is, but majorly, what we should think about is how we can actually, attract a lot of investors, attract a lot of companies coming to Nigeria, provide jobs. Because the more companies come in, the more they provide jobs for the population, and the more crime reduces. So there's a lot of things, benefits that crypto does. Of course, in terms of having economic sovereignty, because for real, I think that, having a crypto-regulated environment in Nigeria means economic sovereignty. As we already mentioned, if Nigeria actually stores our foreign reserves in Bitcoin, it actually helps us better to wage against the inflation of the dollar, you understand? And also, reduce the dependence on the Naira dollar thing, you understand? Because what is actually crushing the economy right now is the fact that everything that we do is based on the dollar valuation, you understand? So for making sure that we don't dollarize the economy, we have to ensure that our country has laws and policies that are favorable to companies. When they come to come and invest, or they come to start up their companies here, there should be a transparent way of how they can actually get registered, how they can actually get licensed by SEC and get CBN approval for, off-ramp and on-ramp and transactions, crypto to fiat. So that's basically what I think we should look out for. And I'm hoping that next year, the president and his economic team looks into adoption of crypto. Like, yes, Donald Trump is already doing it, so Nigeria should do it. That's the most populous black country in Africa. Yeah.
Right, so, and that should be the ultimate focus. But looking at the wider African context now, you were in Kenya recently. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the blockchain updates that you observed with the East Africa region.
Well, the East African people are amazing people. I was in Kenya for over 40 days, and I got to interact with the ecosystem over there and the people there who are actually building stuff. And I'm glad to say that, East Africa is really thriving. Kenya is actually doing a lot. And a lot of the events, I noticed, even the African Bitcoin Conference should have been hosted in Lagos. But I believe because of the regulation and there's no clear approach to it. That's why most of these events and investors go to Kenya. So majorly, right, if we have like a proper, maybe a more, friendly environment, level environment for cryptocurrency and blockchain, maybe these guys are going to come back to Nigeria. And I see that, in fact, being in Kenya recently, we're actually doing something with a couple of, students staying in their universities, trying to educate them on cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, and how they can start careers in the space. And we've done quite well over there. In fact, next week Sunday, we're doing something called BFF Kenya, that's Blockchain Financial Freedom, trying to get a lot of Kenyans get involved in the Web3 ecosystem, in blockchain, and see how they can participate and, plan ahead of next year, see how they can start, careers in the space. So basically, we're doing stuff and also in Lagos too as well next year. So we're having a lot of plans at BChain Africa and how we're going to really help the youth, the population understand crypto, understand blockchain, and how they can really participate actively in it. So next year for us at BChain Africa, we're also focusing on creators, those young people who have a lot of creative talents, and they want to. Most people don't really know how to write codes. Some of them are not interested in mining Bitcoin or mining cryptocurrency. A lot of them are not interested in the technical side of things. They just want to do stuff and create content. So we're going to focus more on creators next year and help a lot of people come and change. That's what we're going to do.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely great. It's really great to hear that lots of work's going on. I'm sure that you'll keep us updated as you go along. Femi, time is against us, unfortunately, but we certainly will continue this conversation at another stage. Femi Adegolu, founder and CEO, BChain Africa, joining us on the Global Business Report. We'll see you again very soon.